What is going on, guys? Craig 1287 here, bringing you a PlanetSide 2 weapons comparison. We are going to be comparing the AF-4 SMG, the Cyclone, and the GD-7F. Not going to get into too much of the minor details because I'm assuming you guys already know a good bit about these weapons, and I have a lot to go over, so let's get straight to it. The GD-7F, the carbine, has a higher damage at medium to long range. Now, we actually do not have the stats for this, but it can be assumed. Just using it in game, you can tell that the SMGs have a very quick damage drop-off and that their minimum damage per bullet is very small. The rate of fire, the GD-7F excels there as well. It has a fire rate of 845 rounds per minute, which comes out to 14 rounds per second. The Cyclone, on the other hand, has a 652 round per minute, which comes out to 10.9 rounds per second. So the GD-7F excels in rate of fire. As for the projectile speed, the GD-7F has a faster projectile speed. One of the biggest areas that the GD-7F exceeds it is the damage per second. This is typically what most people look at, the time to kill and the damage per second. For the GD-7F, it has a damage per second of 2,002 rounds versus the Cyclone's 1,814.7 rounds. This is a difference of 187.3 rounds per second, which comes out to around 10.3% of a difference. And then finally, one of the biggest perks that the GD-7F has over the Cyclone is that the gun does not bounce as much after landing, and especially as light assault using the jump jets. You'll notice in some of the footage in the background that there are times when I'm using my jump jets, I land and then ADS with the AF-4, and there's an extra little bounce vertically to the scope. And that really throws off your aim, and it's gotten me killed a lot in one-on-one gunfights, and I'm sure it has for other people. Now, those are the benefits that the GD-7F has over the Cyclone, so let's get to some of the benefits that the AF-4 Cyclone has over the GD-7F. The Cyclone has a faster ADS movement speed. The multiplier for it makes it so that when you're aiming down sight, your movement speed left, right, forward, and backward is not going to be as hindered as when you're using the GD-7F. One of the other big perks is that it has higher damage at close range per bullet. The AF-4 Cyclone deals 167 per bullet. The GD-7F deals 143 per bullet. The Cyclone has better overall accuracy. What I mean by overall accuracy is its recoil plus its cone of fire. The cone of fire is slightly better with the GD-7F. However, given the almost non-existent recoil of the AF-4 Cyclone, you can almost burst an entire mag, maybe have to burst just once at a midway point after going through about 15 rounds, but there really is almost no bursting required. In terms of the recoil itself, it has the AF-4 Cyclone has a balanced left and right recoil, and the GD-7F has a biased recoil. This again comes down to preference. Now, the AF-4 Cyclone has a possibility for 35 rounds per magazine because of the extended mags. Most people are not going to get the laser sight or advanced laser sight because the weapon already has a very good hip fire. And the fact from going to 25 rounds all the way up to 35 rounds is just too good a thing to pass up. It makes it more forgiving. Missed shots are not going to count as much against you, and you have the better capacity of taking on more than one opponent at a time. Moving on, the Cyclone has a higher damage per magazine. Like, if you remember, I said that the GD-7F had a higher damage per second, but the Cyclone has a higher damage per magazine. Per magazine, the Cyclone can deal 5,845 damage in body shots versus the GD-7F's 4,290. Again, all body shots. What this means is that there's a difference of 1,555 damage, or 36.2%. Again, the DPS difference was 10.3 in favor of the GD-7F, whereas here it is a 36%. So what this means is that the AF-4 is capable of killing 5 opponents if all are chest shots, and the GD-7F is capable of killing 4 opponents, again all body shots, and all people are at full shield and full health. Moving on, the Cyclone has a faster reload time in its short category, that is 1.75 seconds versus the GD-7F's 2.7 seconds. They are tied for long reload at 3 seconds. Moving on, for hip fire, the bloom per shot is less for the AF-4 Cyclone. When hip firing, it is only going to bloom 0.06 per shot, whereas the GD-7F is going to bloom 0.12, so it's half of what the GD-7F's is. So my conclusion is that the AF-4 is a fairly situational weapon, and that situation is for very close range and versus multiple opponents. While both weapons excel in close quarters combat, the AF-4 edges out the GD-7F due to the simple fact that it dishes out more damage per magazine, and there's typically a higher likelihood of facing multiple opponents in close quarters combat. This is just a simple fact of PlanetSide 2 when you have 2,000 people per continent. Now, the GD-7F is clearly the more versatile weapon, as it can hold its own in medium to long range, much more so due to the less extreme damage drop-off. For classes, the light assault, the clear victor is the AF-4, in my opinion, for my playstyle. And for something like an engineer, you know, they're typically less aggressive. The clear victor is going to be the GD-7F. Actually, probably other weapons that excel more at the medium to long range category. The AF-4 is the clear winner for me, and it can actually be a good thing for both skilled players and new players. The accuracy of the AF-4 does allow for easier headshots, so those players that can take an extra bit of time to aim for headshots, they're going to prefer the accuracy. Follow-up headshots will be easier because there's much less recoil. And the flanking capacity of the AF-4, again, the fact that it can take on more opponents because it has more ammunition in the mag, that's just what puts it on top for me. The AF-4 is a fantastic gun if you are a light assault or infiltrator or any class in New Conglomerate, and you are aggressive and constantly on the front lines engaging in a lot of close quarters combat. I highly encourage you to check out the AF-4 Cyclone. It is a fantastic gun. It's amazing. It kills well. I can't really say too many more good things about it. Check it out, guys. I hope all this made sense, and I've got links to the chart that I was kind of reading off of, and I'll also have links to the Google Docs page that break down all of the weapons in the game, including the SMG and the GD-7F. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned a good bit and are inclined to try out this new SMG. Have a good one. Ta-ta.
You're on Amrush?
Yes.
SD? Okay.
The Sand Over Whisper operator, did you get my PM on LGCs? Hell, I can't remember his name.
Mr. Not Important.
That's him.